15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everyone to our Game Week 19 preview. Huge double game week, and Jason, I really need them green arrows after that last game week. You got the info to help us out and our viewers?
I hope so. Yeah, we both got a red arrow, but neither one of us free hit, so the red arrow was expected. I think we survived it pretty well, though, and now we move on with all of our chips intact.
Definitely my thoughts exactly. We've been playing conservative here, no free hits here. We still have our second wild card. We still have all our cards. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on the double game week 19. Our teams, our thoughts on what we're going to do, our recommendations, and then we'll also have things like our scout list, and then our final get recommendations for the next 4 game weeks, including game week 19 as well. If you guys like the content, like the video, subscribe, give us a comment, let us know how you're doing, and let us know if you guys have any questions about your teams. I know this is a quick turnaround from game week 18, but that's just kind of how the Prem is right now, right, Jason?
Exactly, yeah. We're going to have a lot of games and a lot of days coming up as well, so not going to let up for a while. Lots of games to make up, too, so it's going to be crazy for the rest of the season.
Quick shout out to Fantasy Football Scout. Check out their website in the link in the description. Almost all our stats are coming from their website and their members only page. You can subscribe to them. For any FPL fan, I would consider it pretty much essential.
Agreed.
All right, let's go on to the video. Jason, tell me about Game Week 18, what you saw.
Well, not a whole lot, actually. There was 6 matches played and 8 goals total. So, pretty down week overall. To start off, Sheffield United did get their first win of the season and their first clean sheet. Beat 10-man Newcastle after Ryan Fraser went down with 2 yellow cards right before halftime. Fantasy-wise, not a whole lot going on in that game other than Newcastle's clean sheet was wrecked and Callum Wilson blanked. Moving on, Man United played a rugby match against Burnley. Very physical. Not a whole lot was going on. Basically, Burnley defending in their box with 10 men. They got some decent chances at the end of the game though. Once Man United finally scored through Pogba, Burnley kind of came out of their shell a bit and challenged him a little. But overall, solid win for United. Not much fantasy fanfare there. Harry Maguire did score a header finally, but it got chalked off for a pretty questionable foul on him. I thought, it's a standard Premier League header, especially by the standards that we saw in that game in particular with how much roughhousing was going on. But what you going to do? And thirdly, Everton beat Wolves without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who was out with a hamstring injury. James Rodriguez did start. And they also welcomed back Luca Digne, who recovered very quickly from his ankle surgery. Yeah. So good to see that, yeah. I don't want to judge Everton too much because they didn't really play with a recognized striker in this match. They had Sigurdsson and James kind of up top.
Oh, interesting.
So I think I want to see what happens when DCL finally comes back and see if they can kind of recapture their form from earlier this season. Once
they get going, for sure, they're going to be a team that's going to be really interesting like they played in the first half.
So give them 1 or 2 matches to gel, and then if they look like they're getting back to their old selves, and might be time to get back in on DCL, Digne, or even James again.
I'm definitely highly considering Everton if once they're fully healthy and back together. In the second half of the games, Man City with KDB in that false 9 kind of kept to a low-scoring game. We saw KDB earn a penalty in the game, but then not take it, saying he was too tired. And then Sterling got the PK miss there. Plenty of chances for City. Overall, their defense definitely looked very solid as usual. The best defense in the Prem. Spurs and Fulham kind of had a lackluster. First half was exciting. 1-1 draw. Kane had plenty. Our Son had plenty of chances, but it was Kane that ended up with the goal. And then later Fulham equalized. Typical Mourinho tactics of kind of holding back and trying to secure the lead way too much when it was only 1-0.
Yeah.
Arsenal and Palace, another uneventful match for Arsenal after so much promise. Really disappointing. Lacazette had a chance or two that he missed. Aubameyang just really wasn't too involved in the game. Otherwise, not too much to say. I guess you could also note that Tierney, one of the players I kind of called out last video, he was dropped to the bench. Some people are stating maybe that he was rested.
Yeah, it came out, I think, after the match that he had some muscle fatigue, so possible injury. So that's why he didn't get to play at all. So monitor that going forward. There's no report on how long he's out at this point, so just keep an eye on that.
Okay, quick look at our teams here. I have the red arrow again. I've been dropping. One point I was 41,000. Now I'm 166. This is just kind of a draft. I'm considering taking a -4 hit and adding, getting along on board to that Vardy party. I also took a hit last week, getting DCL out, who I kind of had since game week 1, and kind of rode that Arsenal train with Lacazette. The other transfer I have here is I'm bringing Smith Rowe in. This is more just a budget midfielder, as I cannot afford someone like a Suchek if I want to bring Vardy in, who I'm quite high on, given that he has had a nice rest and he has a double game week coming up. Jason, what are your thoughts on this team?
It's interesting. So I think you have 7 double game weekers in here. What are you thinking for your potential captain or chips you might play? Do you have any thoughts on that right now?
Missed that one. Yeah, I'm definitely high on using my triple captain when I'm seeing someone like KDB in that false 9 position. I don't think we're going to see much of that too often. It's going to be hard to play your triple captain. This seems like a great scenario. You know, it's going to be hard to find like such a good scenario to play someone like KDB who's on this form and who you're seeing Man City. They are doing well. I think their XG was a little low on the last game. But overall, I really like how solid defensively they are, and I really like where KDB is. It's going to be hard to not play KDB at triple. Only thing you have to worry about is Pep Roulette and whether he wants to rest.
I mean, he was too tired. He was too tired to take a PK in the last match, so maybe he is a little in need of a rest.
I think that was just because of the foul. Like, he was the one that earned the PK too.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I am highly debating. I know, reading kind of the Twitter FPL, I'm not the only one in that boat either. Jason, let's go on to your team. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts.
Yeah, so game week 18, I rode with 6 playing players, got 38 from it. Captain Kane. Overall, couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I thought it was great. I think I dropped from 203K to 245K, so that's a small red arrow that I was willing to take to keep my free hit intact for later in the season. Plus now I'm only 13 points behind you, so I've been slowly making up ground until I
Wow.
eventually take over.
Yeah, it's a tight race.
Yeah. I think looking at game week 19, this team I have right now on screen, I have 9 double game weekers plus Kane and Son to start. So I'm pretty happy with that overall. I'm probably going to roll with that and not make any transfers unless something else comes up. In this scenario, I'd be probably benching Bamford, Ferguson, obviously, and probably Rob Holding. So, it hurts a little bit to bench Bamford and Holding because they both have nice fixtures, but when you got all those double game weekers and Son and Kane have a single fixture against Sheffield, I think that's the right move to make.
Yep.
And for my
excellent choice on the Kane captain there.
Yeah, I think I called that out back in game week 16 when they were originally scheduled to play, so I felt like I had to kind of do that as well when the game got made up. As far as my chip strategy, I don't think I'm going to play any chips this week. I'd considered a bench boost early on, but with some of those games getting canceled, Alex McCarthy's back healthy now, it would just cost too much in potential transfers and rejiggering around for me to be able to do that. So I'm going to save all my chips, I think, and just roll as I am right now.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Are you concerned at all about not having like a KDB or a Vardy?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. KDB, like I just don't see the huge hauls in him right now with the way City are playing. Like I love having their double defense. I think Cancelo has been due a goal or an assist for a long time now. His underlying stats have been on fire. He just hasn't quite hit that yet. But yeah, KDB, man, I don't know. He just takes too long to shoot the ball.
He had one inside the box shot. He was like almost like a one-on-one with the keeper. He just had it a little bit too. He should have widened his shot, the angle of his shot, but it just went straight to the keeper. It was like stuff like that. Like you can tell he's not like a striker, basically.
Yeah, definitely not. I think there's a reason most of his goals are screamers from outside the box.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I do like your conservative strategy. The Kane and Son, overall, it worked out in game week 18. I'm sure it'll have some success in game week 19. You were actually a little unfortunate, really. Son really should have had more points. He was actually the number one underachiever of game week 18.
Yeah, he really underachieved his XG, which is usually the exact opposite. He always does way better than what it is. So it was, I guess, averaging out or something. I guess I don't know.
and then Souček, is he gonna be a starter for you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of my New Year's resolutions is Souček will start every week from now on. I need to stop benching him.
Yep, totally agreed. Okay, let's go on quickly here. Jason, tell me some of your top picks.
Yeah, game week 19, you got a lot to choose from here. So these are just some of our favorite options if you're putting together a free hit, a wild card, or even just looking for those last few transfers to fill out your roster. So starting with goalkeepers, we already have Emiliano Martinez. He retained his double game week with the Newcastle fixture getting moved in, which is great. The City fixture is tough for him, but overall I like his prospects. Fabianski of West Ham has the two fantastic fixtures this week. He is coming off I think a thigh injury, so just check back and make sure he's healthy first. And then my budget option is going to be Sam Johnstone of West Brom. Partially just in there for his save points.
Nice.
Defense. Yeah, I know we love City defense here. Diaz, Stones, Cancelo. They seem the most nailed on of the City defenders. I think those are the three. If you're looking at them, go for one or two of them probably.
Having at least one City defense at this point is essential.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Andy Robertson for Liverpool. No, I know they've been a little off form lately, but it's still hard to go against him. He's just always in the box, creating constantly. So even at his elevated price, it's hard to overlook him. You know, with Leicester's double, I think James Justin has to come back into our thoughts. Ricardo Pereira has been kind of looming over him for like 3 months now, and still hasn't come back. So
that's almost like a non-issue at this point. I think he got injured again or something, right? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he injured his groin on his comeback, but supposedly he's back in training now and ready to start challenging for a spot. But I think that falls into the category of I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, then like we mentioned with West Ham, with their 2 great fixtures, we have 2 of their defenders listed. Cresswell, a more premium option. Soufal, a little cheaper. Both have fantastic chances created statistics, so either one of them will be great. And, for Chelsea's double game, we have Ben Chilwell as our top option. With Reece James's kind of constant injuries he's had recently, it's just kind of had me waver on him as a nailed-on pick, just in case he aggravates any of those. So for me, Chilwell's the better option right now.
Interesting. So let's move on to the midfield and forwards, Jason. I see a lot of United, a lot of City.
Yes. Yep, yeah, I think Bruno's got to be an auto pick at this point, so don't need to discuss that too much. Yeah. I do like Marcus Rashford a lot, especially if you're transferring him in permanently. United do have a very nice fixture list even after this week, so he could be a kind of like a long-term pick if you wanted that as well. Same with City, De Bruyne, Sterling, and for me, Foden's the best budget option there. He's been on fire recently and seems to be cementing his spot in the starting lineup as much as you can in a Pep Guardiola team.
The current formation, with where there's no true striker, he seems to be one of the midfielders that are top on the team list.
For sure. Yeah, and then moving on, the usual suspects from Liverpool, Salah and Mane. Liverpool's been a little off form, like we mentioned, but you can't really go against either one of these guys. So with a double game week, both at home, I think you have to have at least one of them in your squad.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not have the Egyptian for me. Kind of a hard lock on my team all season.
Yeah, same here.
Now you have some people like Cavani. Are you kind of worried about his minutes?
Yeah, I can definitely say I'm a little worried about that. I think I consider him more of a differential pick, and also I think the number of strikers available in game week 19 that have doubles are pretty weak overall. Jamie Vardy is kind of like the big premium standout, but beyond him, there's really not a whole lot going on for strikers.
Kane, right? Or he doesn't have a double game week.
Yeah, right? Single game week though.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at doubles, I think Cavani could be kind of a fun differential if you wanted to try that. He did start against Burnley. Didn't have his best game, but still got some chances.
Yeah. So. And then I kind of already talked how I liked Vardy after a nice rest.
Yes, yeah, a nice rest for him in the FA Cup. So him and Maddison both got a nice rest. So I think they should be ready to go for this double game week.
Okay, let's move on to the schedule. Pretty much the same as RF. We've already said in prior videos and kind of talked about. Main focus is game week 19, specifically the big double game week teams. Jason, if you had to pick only like a few teams in this double game week, who would you really focus on?
A few teams: United, City. Aston Villa are still risky just because we don't know who on their team had COVID and could still be recovering. So although I like them and I like their schedule moving out of game week 19, it's hard to really bank on any of them at this point. Kind of a crapshoot.
Yep.
Beyond that, I like West Ham a lot too, actually, with their 2 fixtures: home against Burnley, home against West Brom. I think especially defensively, they could be a great one to target and offer some budget options to kind of help you beef up on your Manchester assets.
Okay, yeah. I think basically your safest option here is going to be Man City. Then Man United is a great option, and West Ham is another excellent safe option. My differential team would be Chelsea, I almost went with Ziyech. Definitely a team to consider for this game week 19.
Yeah, and I had to say, Liverpool's like right on the tails of Man United and Man City for the premiums for me. Can't I had to make sure I mentioned them too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they definitely deserve a mention. Obviously, big game. It's gonna be an excellent watch.
Yeah, top of the table clash.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly going to the watch list. Pretty much everyone we kind of already stated. We do have other players like Rafinha that was excellent recently as well.
Yeah, unfortunate to lose his double game week, so it kind of drops him off our immediate consideration, but he's still a good one to watch.
Yep, yep. And Jason, tell me a little bit about this game week 19 checklist.
All right, 5 biggest ways to get green arrows in game week 19. As usual with this crazy season, wait as late as possible to make your transfers. We already know that Leeds and Southampton are down to only one match instead of getting a double. Everton now have a blank game week 19, so avoid them. Villa Newcastle, after we thought Villa might lose their game week 19 double, they got the Newcastle fixture put into game week 19, so they retained their double. So lots of stuff has already happened already. Keep an eye out. Hopefully we get some news on the Villa COVID players, but I don't think we will before the deadline, so that'll be a little tough. Top targets in 19. We kind of already went over our list, but I think the thing that stuck out to me is that most of the big players and like the things I get the most excited about are the mids and the defenders. The forwards are just kind of there. Like Vardy looks pretty good. Kane's a single game weaker. Cavani's kind of a differential forward, but there's just not a whole lot going on in the forward line for this double game week. So I think getting a formation of like a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2, whatever it is, probably play more defenders and mids this week than forwards. Another reminder: this is a double game week, obviously, so focus on getting those players in your team, but just don't count out some of the players that are have a nice fixture and are kind of season-long holds, like Kane and Son. I'm personally starting both of them here in game week 19, despite them only having one fixture. And historically, single game weekers can even oftentimes outscore the double game weekers, so don't get too caught up in the whole double game week aspect. Number 4, for me, Man City's defense is the way to go. I think I'm doubling up personally. I know you doubled up as well. So I think at least having one is essential. From there, their offense is good, but for me, defense is the way to truly bank on them and not to worry too much about rotation. And finally, the captain pick. We got a few great options this week. Bruno with a double game week, KDB with a double game week, and then Salah or Mane with a double game week. You already said you're going KDB and probably triple captaining him. I think I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. 2 away matches. He tends to not blank away, although he just did against Burnley. But I think he's ready to bounce back from that.
Yeah, United are definitely a high interest team, highly entertaining team. Bruno Fernandes is playing incredibly, but KDB is definitely has some better fixtures and is in more an advanced position. So it's kind of those two things really kind of have to make me pull my card to maybe really consider the triple on them. I know their form isn't quite, what they did to Chelsea was extremely impressive, but that game week 18 they were not as impressive.
Yep.
Overall, yeah, definitely, though, Man City defense is going to be the number one key route. I highly recommend doubling on them if you haven't already. Cancelo Diaz or Stones Diaz, either of those 3 in a combination is probably the route I would go. And then don't forget about Kane and Son. Yeah. Okay. So moving to our final recommendations, kind of for the next 4 game weeks. Pretty much everything we've already kind of discussed. KDB all day for me. He's one of my top midfielders, top entertaining players. Look at the position he's in. It's kind of hard to not say his name. Jamie Vardy joins this kind of list for me. Just when you consider his rest and his consistency and kind of the lack of options at forward position, that just kind of raises him for me. It raises his value when you think of like all the options you have in midfield and defense. Jason, tell me about your picks.
Yeah, for me, Bruno is going to be a shoe-in with a double game week. Pretty decent fixtures coming out of it as well, so I think it's going to be pretty nice for him. Mo Salah, same thing. Anytime Liverpool is a double game week and no blanks upcoming, you have to have him in one of your top picks going forward. And then finally for City, you have to represent them for sure with their fixtures they have. But for me, like I mentioned, defense is the way to go. I think Ruben Diaz and he's the most nailed defender in their squad. So for me, he's the top pick for City.
Yep. Quick shout out here to our league. Not quite updated here because of it's still kind of Thursday night, early Friday morning in the UK. I know I dropped points. Currently, we've got FPL Sorcerer is number 1. So big shout out to all these guys. I think at least there's the top 3. Is it your top 2 or 3 are in the top 10K? So very impressive stuff.
Yep.
All right, I think that pretty much just wraps it up for this week's episode / video. Jason, any kind of final thoughts?
Yeah, just get your lineup set as late as possible, and really just sit back and enjoy the double game week. We got a top of the table clash going on. Lots of great fixtures to watch. I think it's going to be a lot better than what happened in game week 18 from an entertainment standpoint, just from a neutral perspective. So
yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah, 18 was kind of, we already kind of talked how many goals were scored. I don't expect the same with this game week. I expect the big players getting big results here. And there's also that excellent Sunday clash. So, good times all around. Wish you guys green arrows. I'm wishing myself a nice big green fat arrow too. After dropping out of the top 100K. If you guys like the content, again, give us a like, subscribe, comment. But that's it for now. Take care, guys.
See ya.